I'm Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access Television, inviting you to this February 23rd, 2015 edition of Missoula Live.
And I'm Kim Anderson. I'm on the board of MCAT and also serve as Associate Director for Humanities Montana.
And we've got a show for you today. The show is going to be on for 2 weeks, from today, so that if we're talking about a series, and we will talk about a series of lectures later in the program, you're au courant. You could go to it. And then some things you may be watching, it's too late. I know one event and guest is going to come and talk about smart parking technology, open house tomorrow. You will have missed it by a long time.
But still interesting to know about.
You would know that there's this moment going on in town. So I have just a little MCAT stuff I'd like to share with you before we turn to our first guests. One, MCAT does give training and tour of the facility on the second Wednesday of every month. So that in March, it's going to be on Wednesday, March the 11th at 5:30 p.m. right here in the MCAT studios, which are downtown, 500 North Higgins, northeast corner of Spruce and Higgins. Our entrance is a little bit to the east. You'll see a green awning with an M and a cat on it. It goes down to a green door, and that's where MCAT is located. So you could plan to be here about an hour. You'd see what cameras and editing equipment we have. You could sign up for further training if you would like to. Also, MCAT's turning 25. I guess we already did, but the first cable cast ever did was on Earth Day, April the 22nd, 1990.
25
years
is huge,
ago. Yeah, so we are celebrating with an open house that day. It's a Wednesday, and it will be from 4 to 8 p.m. They're showing you the website, which has kind of things are flipping. Oh, whoa, they got it back. I did that. I learned on the weekend how to do the website, so I'm very proud of myself.
New skill.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Good.
I did it for like 6 hours. It was so engrossing. But in any event, you all are welcome to come to the open house. There'll be food and beverages. There'll be different people who played a bit in MCAT's past will pop in. We'll be doing a live cable cast every so often.
That'll be fun.
Hallowed garage.
And I'm sure we'll be playing historical clips.
There will be historical clips.
MCAT past.
Right, you can see city council back when people drank lots of coffee and just chain smoked and put the cigarettes out on the floor. I don't think it's such a good idea.
Those were the days.
Yeah. The early days of MCAT's Sharia law from downtown. You could see that. There'll also be different longtime MCAT producers like Rabid Dog, the elderly punk rock Christian anarchist, will certainly be on hand.
Has he been here since the beginning?
No, but he has been here since 1995.
Wow. Really hasn't aged a day.
Not a day, but he thinks so. So anyway, he'll be on hand. And there'll be different, we'll try to get dignitaries. We will fool dignitaries and people of importance to come for that day. So April the 22nd, you'll hear more about it, of course, as we draw more near. Also on the distant event horizon is the closure of school and the presentation of children in your home all day long.
Yes, so, never too early to start planning summer camp.
Summer camps here at MCAT. Generally, they're very successful. We allow about a dozen students to come for MCAT summer camp. And the first summer camp will begin on June the 22nd. It will be like a wildlife exploration camp. July the 6th is going to be animation using stop-action Legos and Play-Doh and wireframe figures. July the 22nd is a featurette where all the kids in the camp come together to make like a 10-minute film and fulfill different roles as both performers and tech people. So you can learn more about it on the MCAT website, mcat.org. You can download a registration form and mail it in, and so on. The camps are afternoon camps. They're 1 to 5, with the exception of longer Wednesday field days. They're $110 this year. And there's room for scholarships.
There are scholarships, right?
Each camp can accept 2 scholarship-free students. You just apply in writing like, I can't do it. I can't pay you, but I have these children. You're in. So that's all I have. And you said for Humanities Montana, It's pretty
Well, nothing
quiet.
coming up immediately. We just finished, as I was telling you, our Governor's Humanities Awards in Helena, Montana, this past weekend. It was a huge success.
Yeah, congratulations.
We honored 6 Montanans, and the Lieutenant Governor was there, and it was a wonderful party. And we just had a grants deadline wrap up, so now we'll have some new programs to announce come May or so.
Okay, that's fair enough. And then viewers, if you would like to learn more about Humanities Montana, humanitiesmontana.org.
Right, you can learn about all of our programs and our grant opportunities.
Yeah. All right, we'll turn to our patient guests.
Yay.
Welcome, both of you, Brett and Angela. They're here to represent the Community Lecture Series as presented by the Alumni Association of the University of Montana. Yeah, thank you for coming. Now, Brett, I understand you're going to give a lecture just tomorrow, Tuesday, February the 23rd.
Indeed, I'll be talking about fluid motion in bird flight, which we don't often think naturally of air as being a fluid, but in many ways, although it is a gas, it behaves very much like a fluid, and we'll draw parallels between what we see in water, vortices, what occur behind birds when they fly, but we don't usually see them unless we use special laser techniques and so forth to reveal it.
Neat. So just the way a bird goes through the air, there are similarities to the way if we're swimming. We go through water.
You know, yes, absolutely. And what's nice is we have, if you do swim, if an individual swims, they have an intuitive sense of what that feels like. So it's a nice parallel. But you know, as humans and on a television program, it's evident we're very much visual. In terms of seeing is believing. The things I'm doing with my hand right now, what's the air doing, we don't know. And we have some nice techniques to reveal that, because I was generating vortices of the same sort that actually a mini tornado, just doing this kind of motion. So we're looking at how that, if you will, it's like footprints in the air, but wing prints in the air. We use that to understand what's going on inside the animal.
Fascinating.
Wow. You know, I feed birds outside my house. I have a bird feeder, and there's a group, and I always think, oh, they're kind of like nuthatches, sparrowy kind of things, and they all gather in this wild rose bush, like 4 houses down. They all stay there. And so I'm having this relationship with them because there's a small tin garbage can I keep the birdseed in. And so there's the noise, right? And then there's the time that I come out. It's always like, same time. And they hear that sound, and I hear that chatter way over there. A lot of them. They're like 20 or 30 of them of a feather, right? But it is interesting just for me to see that relationship. They hear the sound. I hear them all clatter away. Then they're delighted when I leave, because on my way to work is when I feed them.
Right.
So there's all this kind of talk, but if I'm going back and forth from the house, they go away, and they come back, and so on. So I think for people, bird lovers especially, this series is going to be great.
Because the entire series is about birds,
What
right?
they can tell us. We have modern techniques and careful observation that can look inside. The theme is from the inside out. That means from the inside of the bird, using X-rays, using other techniques to understand what's happening inside them. Learning, the acquisition of song, the use of alarm calls, how stress hormones relate and what they deal with in terms of their way of dealing with the environment. Going to the ecology of fire. And so because people see birds much more readily often than we see many mammals, the mammals are out at dusk and dawn. They're charismatic, and it makes a nice connection for just explaining why they're great models for biology.
I was going to ask you about that second lung they seem to have. What is that called?
They have a whole series of air sacs. There are actually 7 to 9 pairs. It's crazy. They're in their bones, they're up front, they're down low, and they function, maybe a nice metaphor of a bellows, a bit like we use bellows to help light a fire. There's just a series of bellows. The part you've mentioned about 2 lungs, they just have one set of exchange surfaces, one set of lungs, but unlike ours, which behave like sacs, we inhale, then we exhale, and that's in and out. There, they go through 2 full cycles before the air gets back out. So they inhale, the air comes in, it passes through to these abdominal air sacs. On the next exhale, it passes across the lungs.
Again.
And the next it leaves. So that patch of air goes through two cycles.
Right. So they can be super aerobic creatures compared to our more sedentary lifestyle. Like that. And they use the air twice almost, because it goes through the exchange
It's
and
not
then back
used
again?
twice, it turns out, and that would almost take a nice picture to demonstrate. But
Yeah.
it's used once, but instead of going into a sack like our lungs and coming right back out, the exchange surfaces are this way, and we call it cross-current flow. The air passes across. And for reasons I need to describe on a board, it's more efficient, and you're right about that. So you could have a sparrow with the level of oxygen available on the top of Mount Everest wouldn't even notice, just a sparrow around town, whereas a mouse would be gasping and breathing hard in those same circumstances. And we use supplemental oxygen to climb at that type of altitude.
Sure.
Isn't that wild, though? I mean, I mentioned that just in case people are listening, watching, and thinking, wow, why would I want to learn about that? You know, for me, when I learned that birds had more than just a pair of lungs, I was really fascinated like that.
They are invested even in the bones. So many people know that birds that fly tend to have hollow bones, but those air sacs even extend into the center of the long bones. So
that's wonderful. See, I could talk about this to the class. I shouldn't. I just want to give people a taste of the kinds of things they could learn.
So, but I think we need to know a little more about the overall format of the lecture series and how it got started and what the purpose is. Why does the university engage in this every year?
Well, Kitty Robbins is one of our founding members of the community lecture series, so she's probably the best one to explain that. I'll let her.
Well, I think one of the things, a friend of mine, Ann Boone, we were lucky enough to take a class at U of M, and we were so overwhelmed with just the expertise of the professors, their dedication to their work, their ability to teach adults and students, and how much they cared about the students. We kept thinking, you know, people who work 9 to 5 or whatever, wouldn't it be great if they had a chance to hear people speak?
Yeah.
So we went to the Alumni Association, and they liked the idea, and we had some parameters. They had to be a U of M professor, and we were looking for people who were excellent teachers, and then subjects that the people in the community would be interested in. And it was totally experimental, and the beauty of it is a couple of things. Like, we can pick a subject and it can go across campus. In other words, we did one where it involved the science. It can involve the science program. We start out the bird lectures with a piece of poetry and literature about birds. There'll be some art applications in the bird so we can kind of go across campus, and that's pretty exciting. One of the things we found out over the years is many of these professors are working together, but they don't get to hear each other lecture because they're teaching.
Sure.
So it's really good for collaboration. And I think one of the things, we all love basketball, we all love football, we all love all those programs at U of M, but really the purpose of the university here is to teach. And we've got some NBA, NFL teaching quality staff there, and that sometimes we don't get to see as much as we want. So that was the main thing, is that we wanted other people in the community to have the great experience we did by going to a class. And I was laughing, I was looking at one thing. I was saying, you know, how it started, but then this is from long, long ago. It says, some of our hopes, this was the year after it started, for the series. And the first thing is that it will continue.
And how many years ago was that?
This is our 17th year.
There, well.
And that's a shout out to the Missoula community, who year after year come and pay their $15 to $20 and fill that auditorium, because they're as excited to see these professors as I think the university is to give them a chance. And it's very generous of their time, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of competition for evenings, that's for sure.
Right.
And so the Alumni Association is the kind of sponsoring or organizing entity
Correct.
on campus that puts
We
it together?
arrange all the space, we get all the professors together, try and coordinate everybody so that they can get their ideas together, and then set everything up and just help it along. So.
And the venue is University Center Theater, which is at the University Center, on the 3rd floor. Elevator is there.
Yes.
It's completely accessible.
Parking is usually free after.
Yes.
Yeah, after the
Parking
evening,
is
don't
easy
be
there.
scared.
Yeah.
Yep.
Though I went up for something, in their building right in front of the Adams Center.
Oh, right.
I was picking some kids up after a marching band rehearsal. And I was like, where do you go? But I figured it out. Yeah. And Angela, you mentioned it sold out.
This is the first year we have completely
great?
sold out all of our series tickets.
Yeah.
So Birds was a good call.
That was good.
It was actually our very first lecture series. The topic was bird.
Was it the second?
Really?
One.
And
2 or 3 of the professors?
3, I think.
3 of them were with that original series, and they're repeating, presenting
really
this year.
great.
They obviously have different topics to talk on.
Sure.
It's been 17 years, but yeah.
Yeah, I want to go to the one, stress, it's not all bad. Are you sure? I just need to know.
One thing to note, though, that we do expect to have seats available.
Yes,
Even though
we
the
don't wanna
series
say
tickets
don't
are sold
bother.
out, we do end up having seats most nights. Not everybody attends every single lecture, so
A lot of people travel.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
So if they aren't there, there's an empty seat in the lecture hall, and
we'll seat
Great.
people then.
So you could just
definitely
show up
yeah,
and
show up
see if
and-
you can get a
and see if you
ticket.
can get a ticket.
And I want to mention to people at home that it's every Tuesday, so the rhythm of the thing, you may be watching on a different date, so you may have missed Brett's Fluid Motion in Flight, I don't know. But coming up, March 3rd, Stress, It's Not All Bad. March 10th, A Bird's Eye View of Severe Forest Fires. That sounds really fascinating and very topical. Another one, Why Tweet the Fantastic World of Bird
That
Sounds.
sounds fascinating to
Yeah, I
me,
really want
yeah.
to know. Like, what are my birds saying? Like, tell a bird for you, come on. And, and I've read things, that sometimes animals, they do distinguish between an enemy and a friend. So when they're talking to one another, there's that guy, he's all right. There's that kid, he has a slingshot. What good is a dead bird? So that's probably about it. Does it end on March 24th?
It does. That'll be the 6th lecture. Actually, our final lecture is being presented by Emily Grassley. She's a YouTube channel presenter. She
Phenomenal,
originally,
right?
yeah.
Oh, she worked with Hank Green, and she was on Hank, yeah, I remember.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she recently got a job at the Chicago Field Museum.
Yeah.
And she's
Wow.
continuing her program there, but we're excited to have her back on campus and
that's wonderful.
able to be a part of this series. So.
Yeah.
That's very
That'll be really good.
exciting.
Okay, I know Robin has to go somewhere. Is there anything you want to add?
Website,
You've been showing it while we were
good.
talking.
The lectures start at 7
There it is.
p.m.
7
every
p.m.
Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
About 90 minutes.
UC,
Time
3rd
well
floor.
spent. UC 3rd floor. Individual tickets, are they pricey? Can they get them at the
$5
door?
at the door.
Cheaper than a movie.
Yeah.
So this is going to be fascinating. And the thing is, we all watch birds. And I mean, you see the crows in our neighborhood, and they are definitely thinking about
Yes,
things
Brett
and
mentioned
cooperating.
the animals we see.
Yeah.
And has that rich history of augury, telling the
Well,
future
yeah,
by checking
Black,
out the birds.
the raven.
The other thing is they will be rebroadcast.
Oh,
MCAT is-
That's right, I
excellent.
forgot.
MCAT is recording them, and we'll
Yeah.
rebroadcast
Oh.
them.
As
starting
part of
in
Media
April.
Assistance Grants
Perfect.
program.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right, and that's really have been helpful to us because people will come, and if they travel
If they
to the
can't get
south,
in.
then we can give them the MCAT. So that's been a really
Excellent.
nice marriage.
Good.
Also, and one thing, if you can't come this year, I can almost guarantee there'll be another great subject next year. So
Yeah.
just watch for the community lecture series, because even after 17 years, I'm surprised how many people don't know about it.
Well, this one sounds like a real winner, and
is.
thank you for putting
Yeah,
it together
thanks for
for all
coming
these
by.
years.
Nice to see you all. And you, Ann. So we'll talk about the homecoming parade by summertime.
Sometime.
Later.
Yeah. So we'll be right back. We've got more guests. We're going to go on for another 40 minutes, if you can believe that, on this edition of Missoula Live. Stay with us.
The harlequin duck is one of Montana's rarest birds. Currently wintering on the Pacific Ocean, harlequins migrate to Montana's streams to breed in the spring. One of the most productive areas is McDonald Creek in Glacier Park.
This 10-mile stretch of the creek from Lake McDonald to Logan Creek produces 25% of all of the chicks that are produced in Montana and has the highest breeding density of harlequins in the lower 48.
But when no harlequin duck chicks were found on McDonald Creek a few years ago, researchers wanted to learn more.
And we had radio transmitters on these females, and we wanted to look at where in the stream do the females want to be in relationship to different stream features and habitat features, and also distance to going to the Sun Road.
While Montana is on the southeastern extent of the harlequin's range, There is concern these rare ducks are in decline.
Across the board, they're just difficult to study. They occur in these remote locations. Very little research has been done, and we just don't know much about them.
Through his research, Hansen believes we need to continue to monitor Montana's harlequin ducks and conserve the waters they use to maintain the harlequin in the future.
It's really important to know what are the focal streams, what are the important streams where a lot of these ducks are coming from, to focus our efforts to think about, how the stream is being managed.
I'm Winston Greeley, out among Montana's fish, wildlife, and parks.
I'm Montana Hope.
I am Montana Hope.
I am Montana Hope.
For the last 30 years, the Montana Hope Project has been granting wishes to Montana children who face life-threatening illnesses.
I'm Montana Hope.
To make a donation and help their wishes come true, please visit montanahope.org.
We are Montana Hope! And we're back. Leslie Schwab is here from the Missoula Historic Preservation Office. Thanks for coming over.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know it. So you want to tell people a little bit about the Historic Preservation Awards?
Well, it's something we do annually, and this year will be the 22nd Annual Historic Preservation Awards. And we're accepting nominations now through March, and the awards will be bestowed on projects around the community that exemplify historic preservation, such as building restoration or like a historic garden that's been restored, or like the Top Hat Lounge last year. We awarded them because they kept that venue going for over 25 years.
Right.
So we're accepting nominations now, and you can find the forms on our website. It's City of Missoula website and the Historic Preservation Planning page. The award ceremony will take place on May 1st at the Florence in the Governor's Ballroom, and it's free and open to the public, and there's free booze and free catered food. So
Why have I never gone?
Please come. Yes, it's been 22 years.
I'm going.
Yeah, some people, you probably think of some, like, Craig Shannon, the attorney just a few blocks down here on Spruce. He won one year with his wife Shelley for a restoration they did on that home. I can't think of the cross
I remember
street.
that.
Might be Adams or one of the presidents right here.
I mean,
Susie Easton
Yes.
on 5th, that beautiful gazebo and all.
Most of the, the historical architecture that makes Missoula has, either has been recognized or should be recognized, because it's really important to the feeling we all have about this community.
Yeah, like La Flèche building, that was a big makeover. I didn't know there was a La Flèche family, but there is, and they have that Marvin's Bar out there by the airport, which is a trip in itself. Not to give endorsements, but Marvin's Bar.
I've never been.
Oh, it's wild. There's like a log cabin, old jukebox and everything.
Oh, I know where you mean.
It's out in the airport. It has like a neon. It could be
Past the
1954
airport, though, right?
84. Yeah.
Like more closer to the
Y.
At the
It's
Y.
at the Y almost.
Yes, I've driven by it and wondered.
Okay,
anyway.
That family. But for folks at home, if you've ever been to the Loft or the Missoula Downtown Dance Collective, that's another example, because that used to be Jay's Upstairs, which people remember as a wonderful, scuzzy, like punk rock band outlet.
Right.
With the laundromat
Scuzzy
on the
being
first floor.
definitely the operative word.
Right.
Before that, it was the Flame.
The Flame, yeah.
So, I mean, all the stories behind all
I think
these.
they were given an award in probably 2008 or 2005.
Yeah, for the work they did
Yeah,
restoring that building.
restoring that. And last year, we had this one residence that was within this woman's family for at least 3 generations. And when her mom died, she took over the house and just completely restored it inside and out. And she was even crying at the awards ceremony. She was just so happy that somebody recognized, her family for the impact that they had on her life in the community.
So what's the process for people who think they know someone who should be recognized or a property that should be
Oh, yeah.
recognized?
Well, my website is part of the City of Missoula web pages, and
Right.
on there, there's a link to the forms. And you can also call me at my office or just email me, and I can email a PDF of the nomination form. Or if you just give me an address, I'll track down the
Okay.
information.
And, I mean, is it a really technical, difficult process?
No,
Okay.
it's just, who owns it. It has to have been restored within the last 3 years. And just give us a background, some pictures of before and after, so we can kind of tell what kind of work has been done on the property.
That's great. And it's so
Yeah.
nice to recognize people for doing work like that.
Yeah, and there's various categories: commercial, residential, compatible new construction, and addition.
Yes.
Somebody was saying, the building just down the street here, they've added to make a hostel. Years and years it was a photographic restoration business there, and I think the people live there. And now they've added almost seamlessly to this old building on the east side of it.
Well,
So if anyone's watching and you're...
Email me the address. And I'll
Yeah.
Yeah,
track
there
it
you
down
go.
and take
It's
some
right on
pictures.
Spruce.
Okay.
Renovation and rehabilitation, and maintenance and repair. So that's a bunch of categories.
Yeah.
And painting. We also have painting and landscape preservation. And we also give out an award for individuals and groups who have made an impact on historic preservation in the community.
Sure.
Nice.
Very good. And then a real fun party.
Yeah, a real fun party.
It is fun. Yeah.
That's really great. Now, the thing to bear in mind, dear viewers, nominations are due March 2nd.
Okay, so get on this.
Yeah. So that's a week from tomorrow.
We can
from the first.
We can extend it if we're not getting enough.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So-
Yeah, because
Yeah, my kitchen remodel.
the presentation.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
Starting
yeah,
that today.
that's right. I've been watching that on Facebook. Well, that's great. Leslie, is there anything you want to add?
No, that's
All right.
that's about it.
Fair enough.
Historic Preservation Month is the month of May, and this is just the kickoff. We will also be having tours throughout the month of May that focus on different historic preservation aspects of Missoula, like the university and mid-century modern architecture and the Rattlesnake neighborhood. And then we're going to do like a brewery distillery tour that, the historic buildings that house
great.
breweries and distilleries will be.
Oh, you'll have to come back
That's
and
a very
remind us
important
about that.
tour.
It's a very important
Yeah,
tour.
right. Okay, well, we'll talk about that in another month or so.
All right. Well, we will be right back with more guests. Stay with us. They're going to show you another public service announcement.
The Sustainable Business Council is planning a whole month dedicated to moving Missoula towards zero waste in April 2015. With a 40-page guidebook, a webinar on how to organize a zero waste event, and a full calendar of tours and hands-on activities. Contact the SBC today if you have a waste reduction story to tell, if your organization would like to host or sponsor an event, or if you need a business solution for a waste issue. Help move Missoula towards zero waste with the SBC this April.
Come on, guys. Rolling? Good. When hiking in bear country like this, it's important to remember your essentials, like bear spray and knowing how to use it. Liam, where's my bear spray?
I put it in the bottom of your pack.
I didn't mean... How am I supposed to get it quickly?
When adventuring in bear country, remember, bring bear spray and know how to use it. Hike in groups, make noise, and don't run. Be bear aware.
And we're back with Stephanie
Yeah.
Rold. She's here representing Sustainable Business Council of Missoula because April is Zero Waste Month.
It is. We are declaring April is moving Missoula towards zero waste.
Right.
We've got a ways to go, but we're starting to go there.
Because this is a goal.
Right.
It's not.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's the first right off the bat. We're
Right.
going to say, we are working towards this. We're moving Missoula. We know that. We have a road ahead of us.
Yeah. Recycling is hard.
Yes.
For instance, in this building, and I'm not going to mention any names, we're in the old Missoulian building, it was very difficult to get recycling going here, and partly the concern was, it's got to be orderly and cleanly and all that sort of pickup stuff. So MCAT has its own pickup from Republic Services for recycling, $20 a month. But they come and get like a 50-gallon, and we don't have to sort. So people at home, if you're
there are
interested,
options, yeah.
there are options. You can pay that amount. I know you say, my garbage is enough, but you can say how important that is, the recycling and so on.
Exactly. And part of our Moving Missoula Towards Zero Waste Month, we're going to be producing a 40-page guide. And this guide will be exactly that. It'll, kind of describe what the situation of waste and recycling is in Missoula specifically, and it'll have a bunch of articles, resources, how landfills work, simple stuff like that. What is zero waste? How does that work? So it'll be, a really great guide for businesses and people alike. And we'll be doing a 40-page online version, and then to minimize our own waste, we're going to just print a 16-page version, and that will be distributed with the Independent in early April.
That is fabulous, because I think that's part of the issue is people just get overwhelmed with, getting set up and started, and and they're embarrassed that they don't know. So that's going to be really
I feel that way
helpful.
when I travel.
Yeah.
If I go to Portland, I'm kind of like, is this the, they have like all this stuff there built into their daily lives. They are sorting. Or in my brother's house in Brooklyn, New York, it's like, or my mom's house on Long Island. It seems like the bigger cities are way ahead of Missoula on this like sort and recycle thing. It's built into people's rituals,
and
so they know what to do.
And it can become built into ours, and then it's just unconscious.
Exactly. So we'll get there. The second part of our campaign, so this is going to be all of April, that we'll be promoting our guide, and we're also going to be promoting a calendar of events. And so we're calling on the entire Missoula community, businesses and organizations, to host their own zero waste event or Earth Day event. So, for example, on your guys' 25th anniversary, you would go online to MissoulaEvents.net and click on our venue, and it's Towards Zero Waste Month, and you would put in your own event and add it to our calendar. And bear in mind, the events don't have to be zero waste. Although we did just have
generating waste, geez.
That's the thing. We just had a webinar on how to plan a zero waste event. It's not hard, you just have to plan. And so that webinar is now a video on our website. But, it doesn't have to be exactly zero waste, but we want you guys to be working towards it, obviously contributing to this end goal. But we realize that it's hard, and, we're starting out. So we have several organizations doing tours, other, a lot of Mud Day, Earth celebrations is going to be a big one. So we encourage a lot of people who don't have space or staff to host their own event to get a booth up on that Earth Day.
Nice.
We should get the mud people on the show.
Yes,
Missoula
that's a good idea.
Demonstration
That's a good idea.
They're great.
And we just saw this adorable PSA that you guys
really
put
cute.
together. That was wonderful.
And I guess, it is an issue and it seems a little ironic, but because we're surrounded by such beautiful wilderness, I wonder if people in town don't think, wow, there's plenty of room to throw this stuff away,
I think that used to be an Old West attitude, there was always room for another dump.
Our resources are endless. But, we're realizing even here in Montana, that's not true.
Of course.
And, I think that's kind of a motivating factor now is how beautiful our area is. We need to keep it that way.
Yeah,
more preservation.
absolutely.
And people watching at home, I don't know if Scott put up the website. What is it, Stephanie, like the address people go to?
So our website is sustainablebusinesscouncil.org. If you go there, you can also find the link to submit an event. You can check out, kind of our draft of our calendar, find out more about this campaign and our other upcoming ones as well.
Great.
And I should mention that the calendar will be online. It will also be in our guide. So
excellent.
We'll be promoting that everywhere. And it's free to list an event. You just have to go online and fill it out.
Plus, you can access the big expanded guidebook on how to become waste-free.
Right. Exactly. And it'll
Okay.
be kind of sectioned out. We'll talk about recycling. We'll talk about reducing waste. We'll talk about, redesigning and reimagining. There's, a lot of different ways a lot of angles to go about this issue. And that's kind of the fun part.
Well, I was going to say, it could be a really fun family challenge.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm kind of thinking
how
about my
much
own
can
deal.
you reduce
Well, the
your...
workplaces, same thing.
Right.
Like what department
my
can
God, I'm
reduce their
just-
waste the most.
I'm
I
thinking
challenge
about
you
the
guys.
paper at my desk right now.
Right. Well, we always say, for MCAT, we always address that saying, well, our product is so ephemeral. Well, it just goes over there to you, and it goes into the ether. We have DVDs,
Right.
but they're pretty small. So we're fortunate in that respect, like we don't. But on the other hand, we do have, tremendous amounts of packaging when we get our equipment. Because I guess it's electronic or fragile. Like, oh my gosh,
Right.
look,
All of that.
and then the bubble, and then, and so on.
It's hard because, even if you're the most, you're trying so hard at the office, you obviously have partners and suppliers who are sending you this stuff. So, sometimes it's just about knowing where to put that when you can't, cut it out completely or, like I said, getting creative with it.
Yeah.
So we'll teach you how.
We can all use help. We can all do better. So
Right.
this is the place to go to get that information.
Right.
Well, anything you want to add, Stephanie? I know we got to move along, but...
No, go to our website. If any businesses are interested in sponsorship, we will have advertising space in the guide available. as
Oh,
well
that's
as
a good point.
media
There we go.
campaign.
There's the site. Great.
So, there you go. You can watch our video again.
And what's the little guy's name?
That's Sydney, and then the Sustain-A-Bee. So,
I love it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like that.
they're great.
Well, thanks so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on.
Thanks
You
for
have to come
having
back and tell us how it went.
We will.
Right.
And you're more than welcome to pop in on Earth Day, too.
Yeah, right?
We're having
Okay.
our 20th anniversary.
Go
And I
online.
know there's more people out there.
Someone's
and
out there
guests
waiting.
Should be there.
Oh, yes.
And I guess Alan did come to talk about Senior Center, so that's all ahead right after this.
Can you spot the person with a brain injury? How about here? Or here. You can't always see a brain injury. There are people all around us with brain injuries. Meet Adeline, who suffered a fractured skull from a sledding accident. This is Glenn, who fell from his work truck. Missy was a victim of a random act of violence. Join Brain Injury Alliance of Montana March 30th for Bowl for Brain Strong. For more information and volunteer opportunities, please visit biamt.org.
Here's your bear spray, babe.
I don't need it. I can outrun them. Look, I ran track in high school.
No, you can't. You're not supposed to run from bears. And you did the shot put.
Okay, I'll spray down.
What? No, don't spray it!
Ah! My face is burning! My face is burning now!
When hunting in bear country, understand it puts you at risk. Be smart, be safe, be bear aware.
I have the power.
I have the power.
I have the power.
I'm Attorney General Tim Fox. You have the power to report suspected child abuse. All it takes is one phone call to 1-866-820-KIDS. If you even suspect child abuse, call.
You have the power to protect Montana's kids.
This message is brought to you by the Montana Attorney General's Office, the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services, and Northwestern Energy.
You want to talk about back with Alan Goddard. Alan, thank you for being on the show.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. I'm delighted to see you again.
Yeah.
Always.
You were recently in a film, and that's what occasioned his visit, and he's going to come back. Okay. Tell us about that.
Well, I was sitting in the Senior Citizen Center one day, and this guy came up to me and said, I'm a journalism student, and I have to make a film. Do you mind if I film you? And I said, what? And he said, do you mind if I see if you're active? And I said, well, I'm upright. Isn't that active?
It's all relative.
Really? And he said, no, you look interesting. I want to do a thing about how seniors stay active. Do you mind? And I said, oh, well, I don't know that I'm representative. There are a lot of people here. And look at those people over there. And some of them actually do a lot more than I do. And he said, what do you do? And I said, I'm a volunteer for the foster grandparent program, and have been for 100 years, it seems like. And he said, would they mind if I came? Well, anyway.
Right,
So
and that's through Missoula Aging Services, foster grandparent program.
Yeah.
And you work with kids. I saw you and kids in the movie. It was really great.
Oh, yeah. They tell me jokes. It keeps me young, and I like it. And we celebrate birthdays. And do you want to hear it? Oh, well, this is kind of racy.
Yeah, that's okay, I think.
We'll find out.
Yeah, sure. All the 6th grade girls giggled and said, do you know what we call twins?
What?
Womb mates.
God's sake.
God loves the old jokes. They're still around.
Yeah, see?
And what school do you work at?
Meadow Hill Middle School.
Oh, Meadow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there we have the Missoula Senior Center site.
Oh, that was nice of him.
Yeah.
Because Alan mentioned to me that he thought people needed to support the Missoula Senior Center. And you mean, go there, use the thrift shop, and give donations too?
It loses, I am told, and I'm not really on top of this.
Yeah.
$3,000 a month.
Okay. That's not so bad. That's $36,000 a year.
Well,
if there was a fundraiser, make ends meet.
That we've had several things happen. We remodeled. I didn't.
Yeah, right.
Michelle Hastings, who is the manager,
and we'll have her on the show,
is a very, I don't know how you call it. She's very. You just had the lady from Historic Preservation.
Yeah, Leslie.
Yes. And I thought, boy, talk about renovation and restoration. What she has done with the building is remarkable.
So Senior Citizen Center should be up for this historic preservation.
That's absolutely a good
and
point.
it just occurred to me, this is a thing. She's redone the kitchen, and she's redone the bathrooms.
And there was that fire.
And
not
then
too
exactly,
there was
that fire.
Yeah.
Put a big dent in
I'm
everybody.
sure.
So what little cushion we had, well, I guess we had close to $250,000.
Wow.
Went into the renovation,
Okay.
and then the fire and the restoration and so on. And then we're caught in this spiral of the senior nutrition program has been radically changed over the years, and now the only place that provides meals regularly for those of us who are ambulatory, I guess is the right word, is the senior center.
So it's a really important resource.
Oh, there are people who go there. This would be the only hot meal they would get during the day.
Yeah.
They don't have to eat alone. And believe me, you don't understand what it's like till all your friends die. I mean, I know that sounds so dramatic.
Yeah, it does sound like that.
Oh, honest to God, it's the hardest part of it.
But study after study and doctor after doctor has said that loneliness and solitude are some of the most dangerous things for everyone to look out for as we age.
Well, and that's my argument, is that aging isn't a medical issue. It's a kind of a social issue, and that's what we have here. We have an opportunity I play bridge at least twice a week.
Yes, that's in the movie too.
That keeps you
and,
sharp.
I argue with a lot of people at lunch, and we communicate, and we take care of one another.
Yeah.
And we form new groups, and you make new friends. And there are other things. There are people who, women who scrapbook, and there must be hundreds of women in the community who do this, who make scrapbooks for their granddaughters, who keep the kids' records. And what a joyful thing to have them working there. And they're mahjong people, and they're cribbage people, and they're arts people, and they're quilting people, and they're kids from the high school who drop in and say, "Is there anybody here who wants to play a game of pool?"
No kidding. Pool sharks from Hellgate High.
And they take us old guys. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
So it actually is a great boon for the community, and it does provide a real service. And it's on Higgins and Fifth, and across from the Roxy. And every time I look at the Roxy, I think of you, Joel, in the days of the Crystal. When we used to go. I used to come over to Missoula from Butte.
Yes. That's right. You used to come to see the art films
just to see
at the
films
Crystal.
at the Crystal.
Yeah.
And there was Joel, and I'd say things to him like, "I went to see Josephine Baker." And lo, 6 months later, Josephine Baker is on the bill.
Yeah.
You did a wonderful job.
Little Tam over there.
So I always remember that. And the film, I hope we can get a chance to see it, because I thought it was, for a first effort, I think it's outstanding.
Yeah, see, what we're going to do, so we got kind of weeks mixed up, and what I wanted to do was have Michelle from Senior Citizen Center with you and the guy that made the film, and then we're going to show clips.
Well,
But
maybe
we'd
we
have to
can
have
get that
less
organized.
guests. We can't have 5 guests in the hour and
Right.
do all what I said.
Right.
We'd have like 2 other guests besides that.
So we'll keep
we're gonna
working
set
on
it
that
up.
and try to
But the
make it happen.
important, the takeaway message
Yeah.
of Alan's visit is Senior Citizen Center right in Missoula. It is a nonprofit, it's a public benefit institution. It could use the support of the whole community, either through
Membership, just
write a
like a
check,
membership.
become a member if you're of the age to become. Is it over 55 or what is it?
You have to be a senior. Well, I think a senior is described as 60.
We'll all be there at some point if we aren't already.
I'm going to be there
Let's
tomorrow.
hope. Let's hope.
Yeah.
You're going to be there tomorrow? Oh,
you know how time goes by.
Right.
Well,
But don't take it
Julie
for granted.
Andrews said it last night
Oh,
for the
I
Oscars.
know.
She said, I blinked, and it's 50 years later.
I know.
Did you like the Oscars?
Yeah, I did.
I thought it was a wonderful session, and I was so happy about J.K.
Oh, I know. That was great.
I just all teared up on account of...
I did too.
Did you know Pat?
I went to college. Yes, both Don and Pat. And J.K. was in college when I was first started at the university.
Pat and I were, and she first came to the state. I was chair of the drama and dance for Montana Arts Council, and she worked for the Montana Arts Council. And at a meeting, we had a dream session, and somebody said, "What would you like to see happen in Missoula, your town?" And she said, "I don't know." And I said, "Yes, you do." We were talking about it, the river, that whole riverfront, which at that time was just flooded
awful.
with
Yeah.
old cars and concrete slabs.
Garbage and yeah.
I'd heard about that, how the dump, we better go on to Ann
I
Guess,
know, we
but
better get
how
on.
the dump was,
Instead of reminiscing.
right across from St. Pat's, and Jack Reedy, longtime city council person when he was like 86, he was talking about how you couldn't see the mountains because of all the teepee burners, and the
air was
hospital throw
horrible.
body parts into the Clark. Oh, he went on and on. It was pretty funny. But he's saying you have it good now. That's what
Right.
his message was.
Well, we're going to get you back, and we'll get that movie.
And everybody should see Birdman.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
playing at the Roxy Wednesday.
Right, I know, I saw
if
that.
You see this on Monday.
All right, we're going to
We better cut to
get
a
Ann
public
on.
service announcement and have Ann Guest come out and talk about smart parking technology. There's an open house where you can learn more about it right after whatever it is Scott's going to show you.
Whenever you cough or sneeze, cover your mouth do so, please.
Hey, I'm Governor Steve Bullock.
And I'm Jeff Bridges, and we're here to wish MAPS a happy 10th anniversary.
MAPS Film Institute's been doing great things, not only throughout the state of Montana, but it's gone far beyond. So happy anniversary, MAPS.
Yeah, and thanks for what you're doing on behalf of all the kids here.
For more information or to contribute, visit mapsmediainstitute.com.
Hi, Mom. How are you today?
Oh, I'm fine. How's Chelsea?
Well, she's doing okay. She is struggling, but she's going to be all right. The reason I came to talk to you today is about her safety.
What do you mean?
Well, we need to talk about the way you're storing your medications.
What's wrong with the way I store my medication? I've been doing it for years.
I know, but there's a better, safer way. A way that we can keep them locked up to keep our kids safe.
Proper use, proper storage, proper disposal. Choices matter, Missoula.
Here we are.
Oh, we're back. We are here with Ann Guest. She is representing Missoula Parking Commission, of which she is the director. Thank you, Ann, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you know it.
Now you have an open house coming up.
We do tomorrow evening, the 24th, from 6:30 until 8 o'clock. We have our 3 finalists in our search to find a new high technology meter. And so we've got 3 vendors arriving. Each one will be in their separate room, and we are inviting the public to come and look at the meters, talk to the representatives, find out more about them, see how they work, see how they like them. We'll have a little questionnaire available for them so that they can give us their feedback.
Oh, that's great. I mean, because
That's a lot of public input.
Yeah, these are things that we use every day, and how lovely to have some input about them.
Well, we started this over a year ago. I think you remember you came down, and we had 16 stakeholder meetings, 2 open houses to introduce this process. We knew we needed a lot of public involvement, so we made every opportunity we could to get people to come down. They did. They gave us a lot of information, what they want, what they don't want. And so we took that information, and that helped us form the specifications for our request for proposal that we issued out in November to the vendors. And then they gave back their responses. We have a selection committee, and that selection committee poured through the responses and narrowed it down to these 3. So we've had a lot of public input, but we want to continue to have it. And then once we make our decision, we will give a lot of opportunity for the public, you know, where to put them, how we're going to do. I don't know how that's going to look and feel at this point. Once we pick that vendor, we'll work on that.
Right. Yeah. But the biggest step is we are moving away from coins, correct?
Well, no. All these meters will be able to take coins as well.
As an option?
As an option. And then we're going to provide, in addition to that, debit card, credit card, and even the possibility of pay by phone, which is a special app that you can have that would be, you know, for a lot of tech-savvy people. We have a lot of university students that really don't carry coins and, you know, may not want to use their credit cards, could do pay by phone.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's exciting stuff, yeah.
Does it mean that any of the guidelines would change? Will it usually be what is still the case? Stay in one spot for 2 hours and move or go?
That could all be changed.
Wow.
You know, if we did a pay-by license plate, what you would do if you stopped somewhere and put in 2 hours worth of time, and you were there for an hour and a half, and you think, oh gosh, I want to go to North Higgins and pick up something up there, then that goes with you because it goes with your license plate.
Nice.
Yeah, so then it's not as if the space has the money where you pull out and you leave it for somebody else to come in. So we don't know how exactly we're going to have this all structured, but that's a possibility. That seems to be a popular one so far.
Yeah, I bet.
Rather than pay and display, where if it was a multi-space machine, you would park your car, go to the machine, get a pay stub, go back to your car.
Yes.
And in our winters, that's really not popular, and people voice that.
Yeah.
Oh, and they said, I don't want the rigmarole of getting, because that's down by the carousel, right?
Right, and I have to do it on campus. And it's irritating. I don't know why it's so irritating, but it is.
The backtracking, maybe, I don't
That's the nature of parking. So we're trying to make it as easy and seamless as possible.
Right.
Neat. Yeah, but in the meantime, while we're working on street, we still have our new structure. and Central Park and Bank Street, and you have an hour free, your first hour free, which is a great incentive. If you don't want to bother with the meters and learn anything new, you can still park in the structures.
And the new structure on Front Street is fabulous.
It is. It's absolutely
used that
wonderful.
quite a
We're
bit.
very proud of it.
The solar energy and the look of it, the market that's in
And
there.
there's always a space in there, no hassle.
I think the art has been getting very good feedback too.
Yes.
I love that.
Go with the flow.
Yes, go with the flow thing.
Yeah, you can use that relative to your life, to parking, to whatever.
Right, exactly. So, and I know you probably said this at the beginning when we started talking, but I just wanted to get the time frame again. So after people give their input, like tomorrow night and stuff, when will a decision be made on vendors?
Good question. We're going to have the selection committee get together on Friday. We'll review all this information, information from calling up references and everything. Our next board meeting is March 4th for the Parking Commission Board of Directors, and they're the ones that will take all this information, and then if they feel comfortable, they'll make the final decision. It is a board's decision to make. The selection committee is simply making a recommendation based on everything to the board. Then we have to roll up our sleeves, look at how we're going to finance this.
Because it's probably quite a substantial investment,
It is.
right?
It's very big. And so how we're going to do it, maybe we'll do it in phases, and we'll get the first phase to help raise more money, to help fund the second phase and third phase. So I think we'll get a better idea of what it's going to look like and how much it's going to cost.
Sure.
Yeah.
Will it change? Well, you already mentioned that one important point where you could save money by, if you have different places to go in town instead of overspending in one area and leaving. And then I know people say, oh, well, there's 12-hour meters here and there, you know, here on the north end of town. People who work here, they scope them out. You know, like right north of the MCAT studios, there's a row of 12-hour and one is 2-hour. And so a lot of people in the know are like, not that one, it's the 2-hour. You want the 12-hour.
Well, we try to accommodate employees.
Sure.
You know, because not every employee can go and get a lease space. Some are part-time. They don't want to pay for a lease space, so we offer 10-hour meters.
10.
With these multi-space meters, we will have them designated at a lower rate for those employees. So we'll have to figure a way how to communicate that. But we typically put those on the periphery, on the outer edges, so then they'll have to maybe walk 1 or 2 blocks to their work, but it will be at a lower rate. So.
Sure, and that makes sense because, yes, people who work downtown have to be able to park, but what we want to encourage
you want the visitors, the shoppers, and the restaurateurs.
Right. And at the same time, we also want to support the new fare-free Mountain Line service. So if an employee cannot afford the 10-hour meters or don't want to hassle with it every day trying to find a spot and do a shark hunt for it, they can hop on the bus for free. So the Parking Commission is very good about helping to support, you know, the transit system as well.
Sure, it's all part of the same network.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it's all under the same air shed.
Right, exactly.
And it all has to do with access.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good luck. I'm fascinated to see what the final decision will be.
I wanted to make sure, just because the show will be on twice, you know, before this and 12 times after. But people can learn how it turned out.
Here's what you missed.
Here's what you missed. Is it the Holiday Inn Missoula?
Right.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay.
Downtown.
Patty Street in the Three Rivers Room.
Right.
Now, did they change themselves again? They used to be the Holiday Inn Parkside.
No, it's still the same. But they call it Holiday Inn Downtown.
No, they have changed. They don't want to be Parkside. They want to be downtown.
That was a few years ago, yeah.
Okay. Oh, I missed that. Well, Anne, is there anything you would like to add before we have to sign off our hour?
Just I encourage the public to come down and do a little hands-on, give us their input. I really appreciate their time if they would come and help participate in this process.
Mostly because you can't complain about parking meters if you weren't there to help pick them out.
The type out. And also just being new. You know, some of us have this kind of predilection, and so I think it's a wonderful thing to participate
And then I think you're going to have one of your staff members there to record, and so hopefully that will be educational as well.
Get a little preview here on MCAT. You'll probably see it on Scott's morning show.
Great.
Or when we come back 2 weeks from now, we'll run a little clip of the different types of technology.
Oh, I want to see them.
Follow
Good.
up.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming
Well,
down,
thank you for
Anna.
having me. This has been
You're
good.
welcome. And thank you guys for watching this edition of Missoula Live. If you know of a group and you'd like to see them on our program, give us a call at MCAT. The number is 542-6228. For MCAT, I'm Joel Baer.
And I'm Kim Anderson.
Thanks for watching.